Hey, Deep, thanks for joining in today. Let's jump right in. So, can you talk us through the entire field of biology and in which subset of biology you work in? If you can talk more about the breadth of biology, the different research areas under biology, and what you're working on, that would be a great starting point.
Okay, when you say biology, it is a huge field. It's just like saying, oh, this person studied medicine, talk about medicine, but where he specializes maybe in surgery or ophthalmology or whatever it is. So when you talk about biology, a lot of subfields come under it. For this reason, I took up my bachelor's in pure biology, which gave me an idea of the broad fields, like a small idea of whatever is going on, the research that's going on in all these subsets of fields. For example, there is biochemistry, there is genetics, there's under genetics, there's human genetics, there's genetic engineering. Under medicinal biology, there is pharmacology, there's pharmacy, there is ecotoxicology. Under ecology, there is behavior, there is evolution. Again, ecotoxicology, and there's evolution, which I'm more inclined towards. And under evolution also, there is theoretical evolution, there's behavioral evolution, there's genetical evolution, there's chemical evolution. Yeah, what I'm particularly interested in, and I'm pursuing a master's in evolutionary biology. And my master's gave me a chance to conduct research in various disciplines. For my first master thesis, I worked on venom evolution with respect to ecology in venomous cone snails. And right now, and what I want to pursue in the future is animal cognition and behavior. So right now, I'm working with macaws that big in Tenerife, Spain. And so I'm basically interested in asking questions about their social cognition, social learning, motor imitation, and how this imitative behavior has evolved through the years, and what advantages it brings when you talk about why it evolved this way and how it is used maybe in a natural environment. When they are present in a natural environment, maybe it's for foraging, maybe it's for developing social bonds, which again help with reproductive success, cooperative breeding, and etc.
Okay. What do you see the major challenges? What are some of the major or exciting opportunities in your field of work, that is animal evolution?
When it comes to animal evolution, I will talk about behavior and cognition in particular. When it comes to this, I feel like the main inclination why biologists want to work on such related fields is to understand that why are humans this unique? What makes humans unique? We see the same complex social structures in dolphins, chimps, orcas, even parrots. That's why I work on parrots, because they show very comparable brain size, very comparable social complex structure, social bonds. But yeah, what makes us unique? What makes them unique? And how all these species from different taxa has evolved convergently. All these species have evolved a particular intelligence or cognition which is not seen in every animal. It's not particularly visible in other species. So why has this evolved in only these particular uh, animals? And we want to understand if there's a convergent evolution, if they've evolved together to perform a similar function. I think that's what makes it very exciting. And of course, working with animals is always exciting. You form bonds with them, and they become your part of your life. And I think that's very rewarding. And that wakes me up every day to go to work and just be around them and give them all my love, even though I'm experimenting on them. But yes, definitely we form bonds. When talking about challenges in this field, first thing is you need to understand that these animals will not behave in the way you expect them to. Secondly, they don't know your language, they don't know what you're saying. So, communicating and asking them to perform a particular task should be done in a way without punishing them. For example, for a child, if they do something wrong, the way you treat them or way you deal with the situation is by giving them punishment, which we can't do to animals for ethical reasons, obviously. And we have to work with something called positive reinforcement. So whenever they perform a positive action, you reward them. Whenever they perform a negative action, you can't punish them, but you positively reinforce them by maybe stop giving them attention, because that's also a positive reinforcement, because they love attention. Stop giving them food, seeds when they're performing a particular task or something similar to that. So the challenges is, yes, they don't perform in a way that you expect, and that might hinder your hypothesis. But you need to understand that any data is data. So if they're not performing what you previously thought they would, it means that they're not able to, or maybe they don't understand what you're doing. And maybe patience is another aspect of what you have to work on while working with animals. And of patience, because some days they're not motivated, some days they're over motivated, some days your setup is ruined, your experiment is ruined because maybe some part of your method is wrong. And you have to consider each and every factor because each animal is different. And when you read papers and replicate the same experiment in yours, you also have to consider that they are different species that you're working on, the different individuals. What works for that experiment might not work in your experiment. So fine tuning and constant fine tuning basically is a huge challenge, but also very necessary in this field.
Got it. Um, the next question that comes to my mind is, how does your work, as in the field of animal evolution, contribute towards helping us understand the natural world or the existing universe much better?
Yes, as I said, we study these animals to find what is similar and compare different taxonomy, different animals from different taxonomy, right? So by doing that, you get a better
Do you want to define taxonomy for our viewers?
taxonomy is basically the organizational level of animals, which so you divide the animals into insects, birds, humans, into bacteria, into any divergent organizational level. Yeah. So can I continue?
Yeah. Coming back
Yeah.
to
So
where this,
coming back
yeah,
to how it enables you to understand the natural world better is by giving you an idea about how these particular functions have evolved together to perform a convergent task that is not seen in other clades, of course. Yeah, in that way, they do give you a fair idea about how the natural world works. But also, I think mostly it is understanding human thinking. So I'm pretty sure every human gets this question about why are we the way we are? How has culture evolved in humans? We have technological evolution, we go to space, we have social medias connecting people from different parts of the world. And we are not unique because we understand, we have read papers that say that the orcas can, or certain types of whales can communicate from huge spectrum of distance, like from one ocean to the other, probably. So yeah, again, what makes us so unique? So understanding cognition in different levels of animals gives us an understanding of what we have evolved, or what we are basically. Why are we the way we are? I think that's the main question about when people say they want to study animal behavior. I think that's the question they're looking for.
got it.
What makes humans unique?
What do you think has been the evolution journey for your area of work? How has it progressed? Where did it start and where is it today? What do you see are the possible directions that your area of work can take
Right.
in the future?
So I think animal behavioral study started when people started understanding that species that are closer to humans, such as the chimpanzees, also have very complex social structures, also have come up and innovate tools of their own, and they are very smart. So they started comparing humans to chimps or orangutans. And so they wanted to broaden their understanding in different intelligent species, such as dogs, because humans have a very close bond with dogs. And we know how intelligent they are because we train dogs to perform so many tasks for us. And all these species are called cultured species because they transmit culture not only from individuals to individuals, but also generations to generations, also humans and animals. So we have seen a lot of studies where dogs they imitate only when their owner or the possible very close associated human performs a task, whereas an unrelated person performs a task, they don't imitate it. So this is to form close bonds with, and they want to please their owners to make them more likable. So we have seen that, and I think, yeah, so that's how this particular field started growing. And why only big animals? Why only mammals? They wanted to perform these in birds because we see vocal imitation in birds since forever. Every morning you wake up with the sounds of these birds. Why are they making such sounds? And how are these sounds transmitted to the generations? Because no one teaches them. They just learn it by observation. And in bees also, like you just broaden your study to different organisms so that you understand as a whole, as an entire natural world, how it's all connected. So I think that's how it's evolved to today. And people are giving more prominence to such work than before, definitely. And a lot of AI, which is a very new technology for us, has been also compared to animal behavior, how AI is evolving and how these animals have evolved cognitively. So I think there's a lot of comparison going on with that too. And that's where it is today. They use a lot of AI to understand learning and imitation and culture transmission in the world.
What, according to you, is the future direction for your field? Where is it heading towards?
Where is it heading toward? I don't think there is an end point to this field, or I don't think so because there's a lot to learn. I think it's more of, I think, developing AI and using the animal techniques of how they are learning, socially learning, transmitting, and how they are perceiving nature, how they're learning in general is used in our technology as well. I think there's a lot of nature inspired technology that's going to develop further. And I think these studies promote the development of these technologies from here on. So I think the
Exciting.
future is headed toward, yeah, forming like a comparative or a cooperative, multidisciplinary kind of a study between technology and animal behavior.
Got it. Let's change the topic a bit. Let's go into your journey. Can you tell us about what your background was prior to your current research and what got you interested with biology first and then in animal cognition?
Yeah, okay. I think it's a little funny, and probably everybody loves The Lion King. For me, it held an even more special place in my heart because I think that was the initial first time where I came across like animals having personalities, and movies played a huge part in my career, to say. And I think I write this in all my SOPs because it's true. And yes, I mean, forever I've been interested in wildlife in general. I love going around nature. I love being around forests, reading about a wildlife book, how animals behaved, and how people actually studied these behaviors by spending years of their lives in the forest and watching documentaries. And I think that was a major inspiration. But I never saw that as a career until probably I was forced to choose a streamline. And in my 12th, after my 12th, I knew I wanted to do something in biology, and in conservation, but I didn't know how to get there. So I took up biology as my undergrad, and I did it in University of Hungary, Debrecen in Hungary. And this gave me a brief idea of all the disciplines in biology. And then I narrowed down to evolutionary biology because I think that was of my interest. And there's a lot of evolutionary questions to be asked, very interesting questions. And I feel like understanding the history of species or history of the world will give us an idea about how the future is going to be and how we can conserve it and make it more how an animal is going to evolve even in the future. A lot of theoretical work happens with this, along with this. So, understanding a population decline just by using the genes of present animal it gives us a lot of conservation insight. So, I think evolution in that way had caught my eye, and I decided to continue my studies in evolutionary biology. And right now I'm pursuing masters. And yes, and throughout my bachelor's and master's, I have worked in different projects. I worked on ecology at the start, which is basically bird conservation using ecological techniques and ecotoxicological techniques, which is collect the eggshells of these birds from different areas and see the composition and see how much heavy metal these eggshells possess. So we have a fair idea about which place is more polluted, which is less, and it is good for the bird, something like that. We did a lot of the analysis also for these birds to check their stress levels. Also gives us an idea about their migration patterns. And yeah, so basically it was more ecological work. And then I became more interested in snakes and venomous organisms. At start, it was very cool for me because I'm always fascinated by snakes. So I got to intern in INC and I worked on scorpions. And later in my master's, I got to work on cone snails, venomous cone snails. So that was something that was very interesting. Animal behavior as such, I knew since the beginning I really want to do something with animal behavior. I just didn't know why. I just didn't have the reason to do it. I didn't know how this helped anybody. But now that I understand, I think it's the best field I am into right now, and I'm enjoying my work so much. And hence, I would want to pursue that as a PhD and as a career in the future.
Very exciting. It's glad to see someone so passionate about what they're working on. Coming back to this, what were some of the challenges, some of the obstacles that you faced along the way? Probably you can also talk about your experience of studying abroad, both from a personal perspective as well as from a professional perspective. Do you want to throw some light on that?
Yeah, definitely. So at the start, before moving abroad, I think as any Indian parent, I was just 17. So of course they worry and they weren't very supportive about sending me abroad. But I think now they're completely okay. They actually push me whenever I say I'm on a year off. Can I sit at home? They're like, get out. You're gonna explore the world. Now I think it takes some time for to convince the parents. I don't think you can force this on anybody. I think you have to sit down, convince them. If they're not convinced, and if you think you're doing right, just do it. So and later they will be convinced seeing your progress. So that's one challenge I faced. Another thing is, of course, moving abroad is a lot of change. You come from a very comfortable household where you get food 3 times a day on your table or even fed. But when you come abroad, you have to cook, do the laundry, do all the cleaning, which you're very alien to. So that will take time, but it's also very exciting because I remember doing my first laundry and I was so excited calling all my friends and I said, I used a bucket of water to do my laundry. I think that's nice. And coming to personal life, making friends is very crucial. Having the right sort of friends is very crucial. Otherwise, I think living alone might not be that of a happy environment for you because you have to live together and make a family wherever you are, make a home wherever you are, so that you're not homesick, so that you can focus on your studies. We are cultural species, we are social species, so we need people. But having said that, you also have to be very comfortable being. I think that's very important. Knowing that your company is good for you and can sustain alone wherever you go. That is one thing. And you meet a lot of different kinds of people. I think staying at home and living in a comfortable environment, I think you don't get exposed to all these people. Even if you do, I don't think you actively can actively work against choosing such people or actively not get affected by such people. But once you live alone, you start getting affected by the negativity in certain people because that's how they are. So I think getting through all that is a journey, but it's a lovely journey. And I think everybody has to face it. Plus, I recently heard a podcast which spoke about living abroad, and I think he summed it up very well. Yes, of course, there's no comfort. I miss home. I miss my parents. I miss the amount of attention I got from my friends and parents. But will I do it again? Definitely. Yes, because it's a journey where you find out that you are insignificant in this whole wide world. You are insignificant. And the whole journey is to find yourself, find what you are without the attention which is already there, without you having to work for it. So I think that's a very nice way to put it. And yes, I would also do it again, if possible, forever, travel, explore not only the world, but yourself. So that's a very nice way to think of it.
Just another tidbit for our viewers. Deepshika is also extravagant traveler, if you can say. She has seen so many countries, and that too, she is self-financed too, so that's even better. So we can definitely have another episode on that aspect of your life. Coming
Definitely.
back to the conversation, what are some of the highlights of your professional career? What do you think were those major milestones in your professional career when you first got into bachelor's in biology and then shifted to so many different fields and you finally landed at animal cognition? And possibly you can also talk about your future prospect in your profession.
Professionally, okay, during my bachelor's, I think my milestone is moving abroad and getting a completely funded program so that I didn't really have to depend on anybody to fund my studies, my stay, my explorations. So I think that was a huge milestone. Plus, meeting people from different countries, different, the way they were brought up is different, the work they do is different, and that's amazing. I think being around such people also makes a huge difference in a huge growth in you as a person. So I think I will consider that as a milestone. I am pretty sure, as Lalit would have seen, he has seen me since 7 years. And he's definitely seen changes in each and every year, maybe each and every 6 months too. I'm a completely different person and definitely a growing person. So I think the milestone is, yes, there was a point where I lived alone completely. And there was a point where I had a social group and I was having fun and also professionally doing well. I think there was a point where I was at my lowest, but still got out of it and continued to persevere and do what I'm supposed to. And for my master's, I think getting into my master's was a huge milestone in itself because it's a program which is super interesting to talk about, but very hard to explain it to people when they just ask me where are you studying? Because it's a 4 university program. So each semester I spend in a different university. So my first semester was in Netherlands, second semester was in France, and third was actually I'm registered in Germany, but I'm working in an island in Spain. And my fourth semester is going to be in Switzerland, but I will work in Philippines. I think the travel and the amount of people I met, the work I was exposed to, my courses, and all the knowledge I gained, I think for me, those are the milestones. I don't really have anything in particular to tell you, but I think definitely each and every point has been a milestone by its own.
No, these are great. These are great. Finally, considering this great journey, it's very nice that when you look back, there's so much to look back upon. What advice would you give to someone who's just finished their 12th standard or who has some sense of maturity to understand this field of work? Well, there is this idea that you segregate people on the basis of their age. But let's try this. Person who understands that there are some important problems to be solved, a person who understands that there are different people working on different things. To such a person, what is some of the advice that you would like to share? And if someone is interested in getting started in a career in biology, how would you advise them to prepare and then get started? And then what is the direction that one should go for?
I think in 12th standard, about 70% of them are clueless and 70% of them are do what they're told to do, either engineering, medicine, or I don't know, whatever their parents are tell them to do, even if they are very passionate about something else. But having said that, as you said, there should be a sense of maturity. You can't blindly say that you're passionate about something and just jump right in without understanding all the limitations and challenges that come across. You need to know yourself. If you can face those challenges with maturity, you can face those challenges with a lot of thought, with a lot of patience, only then jump right in. If you want to do something different, something that's unconventional, you need to have a way with convincing people to be okay with what you're doing. And you need to show them constantly that you're doing okay in this field. Having to convince your parents or your society, maybe society is not that important, but at least parents, because without their support, I personally don't think anybody can. Parents have been my huge pillars. They're not always understood what I want to do, but definitely have been my huge supporters, because as they say, they always tell me if I say I want to do this, something like this, and they're like, no, that sounds dangerous. And I say, no, but I want to do it because I'm passionate to do it. They will sit with me and say, okay, then convince me first. Why do you want to do it? Why do you think you can do it? Why should we be okay with it? So I think that's very important, because you should be self-aware. Yeah, coming into how to prepare to get into biology, I think for me, I wasn't sure until 11 that I want to get into pure sciences. Maybe I was, but I just didn't know what way to take. Should I study abroad, or should I prepare for the exams in India? So I think when you are in 11th, you have to already plan what you want to do, because mine was very last minute and I saw a lot of challenges with that. So I think planning when you are in a beginning of your high school and deciding on which path you want to take. So studying or joining a university in India is very different from joining a place abroad. So if you want to go to the US, start preparing for your SATs. If you want to go to Europe, search for places and universities that provide all the courses you would like to work on and like to learn. And yeah, which country you want to do it, why you want to do it. Yeah. For people studying abroad, they have this notion that, it's fancy there, the life is easy there. So that's why I want to go abroad. But that's not it. That's not the reason why you should do it. The reason should be that you are interested in this subject. This university has the research you want to explore, has the courses you want to explore, has the right kind of culture that you want to explore. So everything is important. And if you're studying an Indian university, yes, you start preparing for, I don't think there's KVP bar anymore. The last time I heard, you can take up ISERs or other exams and concentrate on your boards probably. So yeah, it's a lot of planning since the start.
Got it. Let's quickly head to wrap things up. So, towards the end, what we'll do is we'll understand your motivations, what keeps you motivated. Because there's one thing wherein you figure out stuff, but there's another thing wherein you keep on going. So, let's first begin. What motivates you to pursue your research? Just to sum things up, what do you
I
think
can
key
tell that to
motivation?
you in
Yes,
one
any.
line. I will tell that to you in one line. I think being around animals is what makes me wake up every day. That's the only thing. I have observed this, however sick I am, however tired and exhausted I am. And every day I remember, like before when I had coursework, I would just be like, no, today I don't want to go. But now it's never that. Like I wake up in the morning, however like sleepy I am, I'm like, okay, I get to see my parents. So I wake up with that, get ready, go and give them all my loves. And I think it doesn't have to be only animals in any career, in any subject you're pursuing. I think the love for that subject has to be there. Otherwise, I think I'm very privileged that way to say that I'm doing what I love. And not a lot of people are, is what I've understood. But yeah, I think it is important to do what you love and love what you do. So yeah, it wakes me up every morning
Is
because I
there
get to be
something?
with them.
Is there something in particular that you love about the parrots or about the animals? Or is it just that you become so trained,
The
so
love
native
for
for it?
animals, I think everybody has that to some extent. I'm pretty sure everybody, whenever they look at a puppy, they're like, oh, whenever they look at parrots, they're like, oh. But I don't know. I think it's a little more stronger in me compared to other people. That's all. And you don't have an explanation for that and why I want to work. And
Perfect.
there is no particular reason, especially because how they treat me. You should see I'm wearing full arm right now, but you can see cuts on me everywhere. because even though they're coming on me with love, they have huge claws and they have cut me everywhere and they don't work uh, like I want them to. So they are very frustrating to work with, but that's fun. For me, at least, it's very exciting and fun. So yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you made a good case by mentioning the
I
cuts.
did
But
not
fine.
make a good case.
Uh,
But that's what keeps me on my toes. It's
uh,
different for different people.
what are your long-term goals and aspirations in this field of your personal long-term goals, your
Mm.
aspirations that you want to achieve in the next decade in towards your careers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there were no boundaries with dreaming, I think I would want to pursue a PhD in primate cognition. I'm very interested in learning about primate behavior and cultural transmission, about evolution of
Just explain what
curiosity.
primates mean.
Primates is basically the genera we belong to. That consists of chimpanzees, orangutans, monkeys, the normal monkeys, bonnet macaque, lemurs, marmosets, and all of these come under primate. I'm mainly interested in the big apes, that is chimpanzees and orangutans, or even gorillas. So because they're very close to us genetically and behaviorally, and I would love to have a chance to get to work in the field, observe them in nature, and try and understand more about their intelligence and cognition, and form like a comparative study between how humans are different from them, and work along the lines of conservation. If you ask me what my long term goal is, it's basically conservation, work for the conservation of forests, work for conservation of such species, because the dwindling of forests have also affected the populations of these species. So I think that would be my future goal, and that's what I aspire to do. Yeah, maybe, yeah, if you talk
Inspiration.
academically, I would say PhDs and postdocs and complete academic kind of field line of research. Yeah.
No, but we get the gist.
Yeah.
Using all this information
Yeah.
and using it as a feedback to again
Yeah.
conserve so that you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
further study.
Exactly.
Thanks, Deepshika. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being
Thank you for
so
inviting me.
raw, so honest, so candid. This was actually a great episode. I really look forward to many more conversations, many more things. Just to let our viewers know, Deepshika is into art, she's into traveling, she is into cooking, so many things. Each one can be an independent episode on its own. But yeah, so thank you so much for making it today. Thank you, viewers, for
Thank you so much
joining
for
in.
inviting me. And
And
maybe someday I should interview you in your own venture. I think that you want to do it. And if you agree to do
definitely,
it, definitely that should be done, because I know about his journey
definitely.
and it's super, super inspiring, and people should actually see this. So yeah, soon.
Thank you for that offer. We do it sometime. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, bye.
Bye.